The Soul Connection, a story of American kindness. The morning sun filtered through the maple trees on Elm Street, casting dancing shadows on the sidewalk where an unusual scene was unfolding. Sarah Chen adjusted her red blazer nervously as she watched her two sons, 8-year-old Marcus and 6-year-old Tommy, sitting cross-legged on a colorful patchwork of donated blankets. Around them, scattered like fallen leaves, were dozens of shoes, sneakers, dress shoes, rain boots, sandals, all waiting to find new homes. "Mom, are you sure this will work?" Marcus whispered, his dark eyes reflecting the same uncertainty that had kept Sarah awake the night before. "Sometimes the best ideas are the ones that scare us a little," she replied, smoothing down his unruly hair. "Remember what we talked about, kindness doesn't always look the way we expect it to." The Chen family had moved to Millbrook, Ohio, just 3 months earlier when Sarah accepted a position as the new community outreach coordinator for the local school district. The transition had been harder than expected. The boys struggled to make friends, and Sarah found herself questioning whether leaving their tight-knit community in California had been the right choice. It was Tommy's innocent observation that sparked today's endeavor. "Mom, why do some kids at school have holes in their shoes?" he had asked after his second week at Jefferson Elementary. Jamie's toes peeked through the front, and when it rained yesterday, Lucy had to put plastic bags over her feet. That night, Sarah couldn't shake the image of children walking to school with inadequate footwear. She knew from her professional experience that basic needs like proper shoes could significantly impact a child's confidence, attendance, and academic performance. But more than that, she recognized an opportunity, not just to address a practical problem, but to plant seeds of connection in their new community. The idea for the Soul Connection came to her at 2 a.m., and by morning, she had drafted a simple plan. They would collect gently used shoes from families who had outgrown them and create a community exchange where anyone could take what they needed, no questions asked. The boys, initially skeptical about spending their Saturday morning on a sidewalk shoe party, as Tommy dubbed it, had eventually embraced the adventure. Now, watching the quiet suburban street begin to stir with Saturday morning activity, Sarah wondered if anyone would actually stop. The first person to approach was Mrs. Henderson, the elderly widow from the corner house who had greeted them with homemade cookies on their first day in the neighborhood. Her silver hair was perfectly styled despite the early hour, and she carried a large paper bag. "I heard through the church grapevine what you're doing here," she said, her eyes twinkling with approval. "Harold left behind enough dress shoes to outfit half the county. Never could bring myself to throw them away." She set the bag down and knelt beside the boys. "And I brought these," she added, producing a package of colorful crew socks. "Can't have new shoes without proper socks." Marcus beamed as he helped arrange the men's dress shoes in neat rows. "These are really nice, Mrs. Henderson. Someone's going to feel fancy wearing these." "That's the point, sweetheart," she replied, ruffling his hair. "Sometimes feeling fancy is exactly what we need." Within an hour, the sidewalk display had attracted a small but steady stream of neighbors. The Johnsons from 2 houses down contributed their daughter's outgrown soccer cleats and rain boots. A jogger stopped mid-run to examine the athletic shoes, ultimately selecting a pair of barely worn running sneakers and leaving behind his own that no longer fit quite right. But it was the arrival of David Martinez and his business partner, James Wright, that marked the turning point of the day. The two men, both in their 30s and dressed in weekend casual attire, approached with curious expressions. "This is incredible," David said, gesturing at the organized chaos of footwear. "How did you organize all this?" Sarah explained the concept while the boys proudly showed off their categorization system: athletic shoes on the blue blanket, dress shoes on the red one, children's shoes arranged by size on the purple squares. "We're opening a new restaurant downtown next month," James interjected. "We've been talking about ways to connect with the community. Mind if we contribute?" 20 minutes later, they returned with 3 large boxes filled with brand new work shoes, restaurant-appropriate footwear they had over-ordered for their staff. But more significantly, they brought something else: a simple folding table and a hand-painted sign that read, "The Soul Connection, take what you need, give what you can." "Every community needs a heart," David said as he helped set up the table. "Looks like you might be ours." The transformation was remarkable. What had started as a modest sidewalk gathering evolved into something that buzzed with genuine community energy. Children playing in nearby yards gravitated toward the colorful display, their parents following with curiosity that quickly turned to participation. Young Ashley Rodriguez, walking home from her part-time job at the grocery store, stopped to examine the selection of professional shoes. At 19, she was juggling college classes with work, and proper footwear for both environments was a luxury she couldn't afford. These would be perfect for my internship interviews, she murmured, holding up a pair of black pumps that looked barely worn. Try them on, encouraged Sarah. That's what they're here for. As Ashley slipped into the shoes, her posture straightened, and her smile brightened. They fit perfectly. Are you sure it's okay? More than okay, Tommy piped up from his position as the official shoe sorter. That's the whole point. Right, Mom, but Ashley wasn't finished. I have these, she said, pulling a pair of colorful sneakers from her backpack. They're too small for me now, but I've been holding onto them because they were expensive. Maybe some other girl could use them. The ripple effect continued throughout the morning. Each person who took something also contributed something, whether shoes, socks, or simply their time to help organize and spread the word. The Patel family, new immigrants who had been hesitant to engage with their neighbors due to language barriers, found themselves at the center of animated conversations as they helped their twins find proper school shoes while contributing beautiful sandals that no longer fit. By noon, the sidewalk had been transformed into an impromptu community festival. Someone had brought folding chairs. Another neighbor contributed bottled water and granola bars. Children who had arrived as strangers were now collaborating to create elaborate shoe sculptures while their parents exchanged phone numbers and weekend plans. The moment that would stay with Sarah forever came when 7-year-old Emma Callahan approached the display with her mother. Emma walked with a noticeable limp due to a birth defect that required specially fitted shoes that cost hundreds of dollars and needed frequent replacement as she grew. We can't take anything, her mother, Janet, explained apologetically. Emma needs very specific footwear. But I wanted to bring these. She held up a bag of her other children's outgrown shoes. This is such a wonderful thing you're doing. Tommy, who had been listening intently, suddenly jumped up and ran to Sarah. After a whispered conversation, he returned to Emma with a pair of bright purple sneakers adorned with rainbow laces. These probably won't work for walking, he said seriously, but maybe you could use them for art projects or playing dress up. My mom says sometimes the most beautiful things are the ones that are different. Emma's face lit up as she examined the colorful shoes. They're perfect for my dolls. And look, the rainbows match my backpack. As the afternoon wore on, the soul connection evolved beyond its original purpose. Business cards were exchanged between parents seeking babysitting co-ops. Teenagers discovered mutual interests in everything from skateboarding to debate team. Mrs. Henderson found herself planning a weekly coffee gathering with other widows in the neighborhood. David and James, energized by the community response, began sketching plans for monthly events at their restaurant, everything from family game nights to fundraisers for local causes. This is exactly what we wanted, David explained to Sarah. Not just customers, but neighbors. As the sun began to set, the last few visitors made their selections and contributions. The sidewalk, once scattered with hundreds of pairs of shoes, now held only a manageable collection that Sarah and the boys could easily transport to the local community center for ongoing distribution. Marcus and Tommy, exhausted but exhilarated, helped fold the blankets while recounting their favorite moments of the day. For Marcus, it was watching Mr. Peterson, a veteran who rarely spoke to anyone, spend an hour helping other families find the right fits while sharing stories about the importance of good boots. For Tommy, the highlight was the impromptu dance party that erupted when someone's donated tap shoes inspired a group of kids to show off their moves. Mom, Marcus said as they loaded the remaining shoes into their car, I think I understand what you meant about kindness looking different than we expect. What do you mean, honey? I thought kindness was just giving stuff away. But today, it looked like connection. Like, everyone who took something also gave something. And everyone who gave something also got something. Even if what they got wasn't shoes. Sarah felt tears prick her eyes as she realized her 8-year-old had articulated something profound about community and reciprocity that many adults struggle to understand. The following Monday, Sarah's email inbox was flooded with messages from Saturday's participants. There were photos of children proudly wearing their new shoes to school, thank you notes from families who had found exactly what they needed, and dozens of suggestions for future community events. But the message that moved her most came from Emma Callahan's mother. Emma hasn't stopped talking about the rainbow shoe lady, who understood that she needed something beautiful, even if it wasn't practical. She's been carrying those purple sneakers everywhere, telling everyone about how kindness comes in all different sizes and colors. You gave my